Hello my friends, the time has finally come to test Renji's Zabimaru. Okay, I don't think we have to talk about how impractical this thing is. It's just cool. But I think it's still interesting to see how well this design will work. You can see we've got a bunch of different targets. I've bought some tatami mats. I've got a piece of quilted armor, some unarmored targets, because as far as I'm concerned, all of the Bleach characters don't wear anything other than just cloth. So we're going to test that with the watermelon. And then I also want to see how well these spikes will perform going through real armor, like this riveted chainmail. But before we start, let's have a look at some of the dimensions. 2.3 kilogram, most of the weight concentrated at the top. So it's very chopping heavy. Overall length of 112 centimeters, blade length of 80 centimeters, and now when it's extended, quite a lot longer, 117 centimeters. I'm obviously interested to see how this will affect the cutting ability. Don't really trust this thing not coming apart, so maybe I should put a little bit of protection on. Whew. I think I'll have to leave the Harbok for now. It's a 3XL and I haven't fitted it yet. I don't know if this is sturdy enough, but yeah. Let's see, first try. That was underwhelming. I am still a little bit scared to fully swing this thing. I mean, this went in there very deep. Now you have to be a little bit further away. Still hit with the second one. Let's have a look. Okay, so it did do quite a lot of damage. You can see it's not really very good at cutting. I always hit with the spike and the segments are not big enough to fully go around there. I mean, okay, like this maybe, but I'm not that precise. But this seems to be more like a can opener, armor defeating type of thing. I still wouldn't want to get hit with it. Let's set this back up and then I'll see if extended with the added length, we can maybe get a proper cut in there. And for the 1000th time, I definitely have to get a fencing mask because this thing is fogging up like crazy. One thing to note, this isn't very nice to extend. As I said, the spring is a lot heavier, so just swinging it doesn't cut it. You can see it extends a little bit, but not fully, just like 1 or 2 segments come out, which is also kind of defeating the purpose of the heavy spring. But I have to awkwardly step onto the tip segment and then pull it out by hand. I left it like this. You can have a look how deep this went in there. Probably more of a puncture weapon than anything. I mean, if you think about it, this is like a series of kamas and they are very good at thrusting. So, I mean, this seems to be a thrusting weapon, I guess. There weren't too many suggestions of what I should try out, but one thing I've read a couple of times is where Zabimaru basically moves through Ichigo's shoulder right here. I would figure like once it comes in contact with like your collarbone or something like that, force should, you know, rip him from his feet, but he just stands there like an absolute unit. And just to simulate the collarbone to see what will happen if, you know, blade meets something a lot sturdier, collarbone analog. Mmm, tasty. And now, as I said, with Ichigo standing there like a tank, I think we need a little bit of a different setup. This doesn't go anywhere. I don't think the spring has enough oomph to really simulate what happened in the anime, so I'll leave it in sword mode and just give it a good rip. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's split it in half. Let's give this another little, as I said, the collarbone. Stupid collarbones, always messing everything up. Yeah. So it did quite a lot of damage. This shoulder probably doesn't plan on holding anything, any arms any soon. You know, another thing that won't be holding anything is this handle. Let me get this down and see what happened. But first I really need this now. I feel quite hungry. This definitely helps. No, this helps. Watermelons are always a good target because if you mess up your weapon, at least you got something to eat. I really want to see if it's my tatami mat setup that sucks. If this doesn't cut it, I don't know. Is this sharp? Yes, this is sharp. Ooh, that's a cool pattern. So at least the War Maiden works.
Finally awake.
So switching to your poleaxe is faster than reloading, I guess. Let's have a look at the damage. So the string held everything together. It broke off exactly where connected into the handle. Ah, that's the thing. That's the thing I definitely have to be careful of with laser cutting, because I'm designing everything at my computer and it's easy to pull a rectangle and it's easy to forget that you are creating a weak point. So it was just a recess for the string to move past, but it's still a right angle. In this exact point, everything broke. Unfortunately, 100% my fault with designing this. But I mean, it's a lesson for sure. Okay, it's been a couple of days. I tried to weld it back on here as best as I could. Obviously, because of the heat, the cable snapped, so the mechanism no longer works. But I think for the upcoming tests, we don't actually need to retract it anymore. And I still want to see if this will be as much of an armor breaker as I imagine it will be. Also, braced the stand a little bit more, so hopefully we can get some good results. Now, honestly, I don't think we'd have to do this test, but let's see what happens with just a little bit of padded armor. So we've got the balloon behind there. It's a nice indicator to see whether it's penetrating. Oh, didn't expect that. Let's see if we can hit it with the top spike now. Okay, that is honestly pretty surprising. Okay, third time's the charm. Honestly, I was so embarrassed by yesterday's results that I had another look. Maybe I dropped it the first time around. The tip was actually bent over. Maybe that's the reason why it sucked so bad. I also put in a little bit more effort in trying to weld this back on here again. I added some braces just to get a little bit more stability. Let's see how it will perform now. Okay, yeah, that's more like it. Let's put a little bit of round riveted chainmail on there. Hopefully I will actually hit that piece because it's not that big. Nope. Okay, no, I went around again. A little bit further away, I guess. Oh, come on. Okay, I think I need to stand here, so I'm going to take another step back. You have got to be kidding me. So I'm going to take a bigger step back. Let's see if this will do the trick. You have got to, it's like I'm constantly hitting the same spot. That's too far. Come on. How difficult can it be to hit this stupid piece of metal right there? Come on, you stupid piece of shit. Oh, oh. Let's give this a try. Aha! I should have marked the spot where I was standing. So it didn't go through. The end just broke off. I mean, if just a single little ring already stops the blade, I don't really feel like this thing could go through there. Just for the fun of it, I wanted to see what would happen with this design if you hit something that's a little bit sturdier. So I made this little patch of brigandine, 1.5mm mild steel in here. Let's see what will happen. I'll leave the chainmail on here. Historically, this would have been appropriate, so... Oh! See, that's actually something that I've been wondering about. I mean, it clearly didn't go through, but I think I have to make a video about this. I think I've been wondering about the design of brigandine, because with scale armor, it overlaps on the outside. So when something hits right here, it pushes into the row of rivets that's right in front of it. So it can't really slide through there. But if you turn this around and you hit exactly right here above one plate, right where the second one starts, this only has your body behind it as mass. Plate armor tends to make the blade skip. So it goes right in between those two plates. Also looking at this, the impact caused the tip to break off. Damn! I actually didn't hit exactly the same spot, but you can see I hit right here because there's a little bit of deformation. And then, as I said, it skid across the metal and then once again between the segments, coming out at the other side. Damn. So plate armor works. Alrighty, I just got done editing all of the testing footage, so I think now's the perfect time to do a little summary. What doesn't come to a big surprise to any of us, I think, is that this is probably not a good design for a whip sword. I don't think the extended range added any benefits to this design. I think this would work better as just a regular rigid sword without any segments. This just feels like using an axe, so yeah. I also don't really feel like the rigid back provided any sort of benefit for a whip sword in particular. Even extended, you can see it still struggled to really penetrate through just the chainmail. So clumsy to hold that I didn't even bother trying to cut anything in that direction. Yeah, but still a fun video to do. And I do notice that doing the testing videos definitely helps to, you know, see what works and what doesn't. And looking at this, I can sort of confidently say that the last whip sword design was better. These are basically the same dimension, and this one only weighs 1.3 kilograms, so almost only half of what the Zabimaru weighs. And it also kind of performed better with thrusting, and it also, you know, cuts in general. So I feel like I should probably move forward with, you know, my own design with this. Which brings me to a little channel update. As I said, I noticed that testing videos do seem to help me, but I mean, even for this video, I feel like I'm kind of struggling to find enough content to fill a long form video. Maybe I should do some short form content, since I'm already like kind of unofficially the internet's whip sword guy. Might as well be someone that actually knows how to use the whip sword. So I took the Mark II design and used the metal fab to make a trainer. So this one isn't sharp, got a little bit recessed so it has the right weight. Still have to do the handle, but just as a little heads up that you can expect some more short form content from me, where I'm just going to try out all of the stuff that I already built and haven't done any testing videos. I mean, this was the first time I actually used the pole axe, which is a shame because it was a lot of fun. And don't worry, I'll still be making all of the long form content as usual. I'm currently working on the folding sword again to cover up the locking mechanism. Maybe now we can do the whip sword development from another point of view. Instead of trying to make the whip sword more rigid as a sword, maybe we can see what kind of benefits whip mode actually has and work from that direction forward. Very special thanks to my patrons. All the videos are ad-free on Patreon. I also just restocked my shop, so if you want to grab anything on there, that's also a fantastic way to support my work. So if we learned anything from this, I'd say Renji can't do shit against a knight in full plate armor. See you in the comments.